everybody, welcome back to
Random Coaster Soundtrack.
Last month, we did a totally original soundtrack to the Great Lego Race over at Legoland in Florida, so let's see what the wheels give us this time. Hopefully something a little less familiar so I can kind of get a challenge for myself. Let's see what we get. Before we spin it, let's throw those rules up again. Alright, let's give this wheel a spin and see what it gives us. Alright, 9 refreshes. Let's head over to RCDB. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hidden Anaconda at Happy Valley. Alright, so a Maurer SkyLoop. That should be pretty fun. Let's head over to our second wheel and see what genre we're working in. Alright, so we're making a rock soundtrack. This should be fun. So, I'll see you guys all in Ableton. And here we are in Ableton. I've got the POV with all my markers up. So, this ride, being a shuttle coaster, goes back and forth. So my thought would be, for one of the back sections, have maybe a bridge. For one of them, have a guitar solo, though I'm not the greatest guitarist in the world, so we'll see how that ends up coming out. And for everything else, it's just kind of going to be my usual formula, but different instrumentation. Normally I'd be sitting here behind a keyboard, but instead I've got my electric guitar all rigged up and ready to record. So I will hit you back when I've got my first melody down. Okay, I've got my basic pass of the riff. I had to kind of give it a bit of a tempo change in a few spaces, and I've added kind of a little tag that is a 2/4 bar that's just chaka chaka boom, right? So we've got that right at the start of the main portion and then right before it ends. So we got this nice little guitar fill here going. Right, simple riff, real easy, quick, dirty rock and roll. I gotta figure out some sort of a long form opening here for this lift hill. I'm thinking probably ominous, but maybe a little more big and aggressive, kind of like the opening to Metallica's Sad But True. So we'll see what I end up going with. I'm thinking also right here where there's no drums will be our guitar solo. Alright, I'm gonna get back to work and I'll see you on the other side. I just got a lot of work done on this, so here's what I've done so far. We got the entire rhythm guitar is now put down. So we start with our very much like a Sad But True opening with just big power chords, as loud as we can, thundering through everything. And then our actual groove comes in here. I punched in the under the solo part just because I thought it was a little sloppy, so I punched it in again. And then we're just going to have this long power chord right as we return to the station. I'm thinking I'm going to do some noodling on a second kind of guitar so that when it comes in, you have that kind of cool sound that a lot of older rock records, and still new ones, have, where you have two different guitars playing the same thing, so you get a really nice tone out of it. And then, of course, I gotta figure out my solo for during the third and final pass. And then, yeah, that should be it before I throw down the bass. So I'm gonna go grab my other guitar, and I will see you when some of that has been laid down. And we are one step closer to finishing off this rock song. So I've added a bunch of guitar work with my other guitar. We've got now a clean guitar that's very much mimicking the tone of Enter Sandman. You'll know it when you hear it. And then I've got doubling that little tag that I've got on my riff on basically all guitars. We've added our specific guitar solo here, which did take a couple of takes. It's still not the greatest solo in the world, but it'll pass for this. And other than that, I've got some little pinch harmonics here at the end, just kind of building nice aura and kind of letting you come down from the high that was the rest of the song. So, all that's left now, lay down some bass, and then get to mixing, and I'll have the final song. At long last, we have reached the final mixdown. So, this has 0 plugins outside of Ableton. So, I've got the stock rock kit here with a good chunk of effects to kind of give it some punch. And then both the guitar left and right are the same audio clips, but they're panned hard right, hard left, just to kind of give it that nice extra fullness. The main guitar, simple effects chain, bit of a compressor so we get a boost during that guitar solo. And then just a little bit of chorus because I think it sounds cool. Our clean guitar here, which is mimicking Enter Sandman's tone, has a lot of effects on it. I'll slowly scroll. And then, other than that, our bass, simple fuzz pedal because I just wanted that extra bite to it, and a nice bass amp preset. We added in some synthesizers because it's not me if I don't put some synthesizers somewhere. So we added a nice arpeggiator pluck sound just to kind of give it that bit of a 2000s rock edge. And then we also added a pad doing similar things. Now the pad is as wide as I can get it. There we go. The pad is as wide as I can get it. And then it's got a bunch of arpeggiator things, and it's a stack. So we got a simple, like, kind of just bass synth pad, nice kind of mid-range pad, and then the top one has a lot of rhythmic information that you're going to hear the most when you hear it. Throw down a couple of cymatics risers that are stretched to fit with the beat, and you've got all of our elements. And over here, our usual small speaker mix, because that's what you're going to be listening to this on. In theory, if this was on a roller coaster, it would be a small speaker. So you want to master everything so that it fits into that small space. And no side chaining this time, as I've done both the last episodes. Just a big squish compressor, and then lower it down so that it doesn't have a blasting sound. Alright, so with that being said, I think it's time for our final playthrough of Hidden Anaconda at Happy Valley. And there you have it. Episode 3 is complete. I had a lot of fun. I did ask the wheels for a challenge, and I guess they delivered. So, stay tuned for next month to see what we get on Random Coaster Soundtrack. Though I do sense a takeover coming on this summer. Anyways, keep on writing and keep on riding.